So we actually wanted to film this video today and put you guys on a really good foundation for form and recovery, because it's super important. You're already starting your third week, and you know, some kinks might have come up. I know, talking with some of the coaches and trainers, some people have mentioned, you know, they pulled something or something's feeling discomforting. So we want to be here for you guys to ensure that we're giving you not just the best training on the floor, but off the floor too. So if you're at home or maybe in your cubicle and you can do some of the awesome stretches that Susan's going to go over with us, please do, because you're really going to learn by doing this, and she's going to walk you through each step. So without further ado, here is Susan Bray. She is a physical therapist, and I'll let her take over.
Hi, thanks so much for having me, and congratulations. I'm very impressed with you guys. Week 3, good job. So what we're going to do today is talk about a few questions that you guys, Emma put out a bunch of questions to you guys so we can hear what you guys want to learn about and the things that you're struggling with. So I'm going to let Emma take it away with the list.
Yes, so our first question, because you guys came back with some awesome questions, is actually about triceps and how them bad boys work. And a lot of people have been having issues with their arm and doing tricep extensions, or either, you know, the extensions that go overhead. It's starting to hurt in an area that, you know, it shouldn't be, because if it's a tricep workout, you only want to target your tricep. So I'm going to demo how it should look, and then we'll break it down. Your hands are on either side of the black strip here. You're on those knees, and you're bending forward, keeping your elbows tight together, they're not flying out, and then you crunch back. You also want to make sure that back is nice and straight.
Okay, what Emma did was perfect and awesome form. Now, the problem is, most people, and when you're new at this is a somewhat difficult exercise, because a lot of people don't have the core strength, and or they simply don't have the tricep strength to hold their entire body weight as they're going down. So, as an example, why don't you show a demonstration of core breaking? Okay, so see how she's sagging all over the place and then come back up? That's going to go right into your low back and not feel good. If this is difficult for you, what I would recommend is that you look at some other options. So another way to do this exercise, because you don't want to do this until you have the core strength and you can support your body weight. So we still want to try body weight, let's do a dip. So that's another option. So show what a perfect dip looks like in the most advanced form. Okay, so there you go. The more out your legs are and straight, the harder the exercise. The closer in the legs are, the more the legs can kind of cheat and help support. So this is a wonderful way to also use body weight to get into your tricep. However, every single motion that we do, every exercise that you're doing in this gym, squats, lunges, push-ups, tricep dips, anything, there's a prerequisite of range of motion that needs to happen in the joints that are being affected. So if you're doing a dip, you have to have full wrist extension. If you do not have full wrist extension, there's no way you can do this exercise without cheating. You're either going to jack your shoulder up to try and compensate, your elbows are going to go out, something's going to break in the process. So option A, you can go less deep as you're going down, so just do a shorter arc and only go as far as you can go with perfect form. Or bring your feet in closer and use your feet to support. Or option C is you use an overhead exercise or a kickback exercise. There's a million different ways to do a kickback. Just doing something like that. That one is really does not require any kind of wrist mobility to do. That's a very easy one. Coming overhead, but the overhead one only works if you have the shoulder mobility. If you don't have the shoulder mobility to even get your arms up here, which there are a lot of people that cannot put their arms over their head close together. If you can't do that, you have no business doing the overhead. So understand what your body's mobility is. If you have any joint in your body that has a limitation, either from an injury, a place that kind of gets patchy and sticky that hurts, something that you're noticing as you're going through boot camp, every time I do this exercise without one, this hurts, you need to be aware of that, and you need to let the coaches know.
Always. None can modify anything, so please.
Yeah, come early and literally look through the different stations and figure out, this is what I'm having difficulty with, or I know my wrist doesn't work great, so go to the coach, what is a modification? Because if you set up the modification before you start the 30 minutes, that 30 minutes blazes through, and you're not going to be spending half the time at that station trying to figure out what to do in accommodation to that. Another issue that goes with wrist mobility would be push-ups. That's another really big one. So show what a push-up is in perfect form. Again, you got to have some serious wrist extension. If you do not have wrist extension, you need to be doing a push-up in a neutral wrist, either on your fist or you can grab 2 dumbbells and do it as
beginning of boot camp, and since our boot campers are a little new, that's been happening a couple times. So can we talk about planks? Because that was a question on proper planking and what that kind of looks like.
Absolutely. Number one, if you're new to planking, start on your knees. Okay? Do not try and do a full plank with your feet. Go onto your knees, either on your elbows or you can do it on your hands, whatever's comfortable. Again, if you don't have the wrist mobility, hands go into a neutral position on a fist or on a dumbbell. And that's how you would do a plank. You start there if that's what your strength is. If you can tolerate a full plank with your feet out, that's wonderful. But again, we don't want the sag in the belly. So when we talk about engaging the core, the way I describe that to people is that I want them, the transverse abdominis is kind of your corset of your trunk. And it's the muscle that everything attaches into. If we can engage that muscle, then everything has a place to attach. So on Emma, what that would be entailing is her taking her belly button and sucking her belly button up to her spine. And you see how she's doing that without any pelvic motion in there. Okay, show how that would be wrong using your spine. If you're doing that and you're tucking your butt, that's not engaging the core properly. You should be able to get this muscle to go in without any spine motion. So come onto all fours. Okay, so this is a really good way to start practicing to learn how to do this.
You're making me sweat, Susan.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So go.
I'm glowing, everybody listening.
I'm helping you.
Yeah.
I get to torture Emma so that you guys can all see her squirm.
Payback. This is payback.
I take the classes too, so I'm getting joy out of here. Okay, so go into a really nice quadruped. So knees right under the hips and about hips distance apart, hands right under the shoulders. Okay, head in alignment with the body, so down here in alignment, you're perfect there. And what she's going to do is you're going to breathe in through your nose and let your belly get really huge. So here you have gravity helping you. So you let your belly just expand out to the floor. Then blow out through pursed lips and suck the belly button up to the spine with zero spinal motion. And that was beautiful, how you did that. And you feel how that engages everything?
Oh, yeah.
And that locks everything, but now she can still move. That's the key. If you start doing it where you breathe in and you tuck like this, you can't function. You can't move like this. You have to have the hips being able to move and the pelvis being able to move. The only way to do that is by sucking the belly button in without any spinal motion.
I think a lot of our coaches are really good at saying that in session too, but that's now what we mean by it.
Yes.